Hi everyone, Heather here with astrologywithheather.com, and I am back with another really special video. And today I have my friend AstroDee with me. She is an astrologer and an actor and a really talented artist, and she has her own YouTube channel. You might know her from her channel AstroDee Stars. So without further ado, hello.
Hi, hey Heather. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
Thank you so much for being here. Like I mentioned off camera, I've been wanting to have you on for so long to talk about synastry because this is what you do and you're so good at it. And you've been doing this series on Venus in the different signs, and it's been like really creative and really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And so I thought this could be a good time to, bring you onto my channel. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's just so funny. As soon as you say like, okay, we're recording, it's like, geez, I don't know. I get really excited once I know, the camera's popping. Cause this is cool stuff here. Yeah. So I'm just, like I said, I'm glad to be here and to keep talking about this cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought it could be nice to just kind of get us warmed up to talk about how you first got into astrology, because I don't actually know that story, and that's always interesting to hear about.
Yes. How did I get into astrology? I mean, we all know basic sun sign. You're looking in the papers and the horoscopes, and you're trying to understand yourself through, you're a Taurus, you were born in October, May or something like that. You know what I mean? And I use it as an escape, cause thinking it's not, I just use it as an escape for me. And I'm so thankful for it because it just, as I began to delve deeper, I was like, oh my God, there's so much more to this than sun signs. If there's more to this, I remember making like this pact to myself. Like, if there's more to this and you understand the ascendant and moon and sun, it's like, I want to master this till the rest of my life. At like probably 14, 15, it just was such a profound, I was like, you just want to keep clawing at the layers like an onion. Just keep peeling them back, and you find that you might not be able to grasp it all this lifetime. And I think that makes it even more fascinating, astrology.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like the best part, is that you'll never stop learning. Like there's always more and more. And if you feel like you're at the end, something new is discovered or rediscovered in like ancient astrology, and then you have to learn about that, and it just turns
a whole nother world. So that was my hook, trying to use it to escape. I always talk about my math teacher. I was so mean to that lady. I wasn't mean to the lady, but I was very indifferent to her. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? We just didn't, you're not here. I don't like math, and definitely didn't want to be in your class. So I was like, I'm going to study astrology. So it bloomed into that. And then doing understanding myself. I think that's the number one thing that lured me to astrology, was an understanding of self. I was unhappy with certain things too, within. It was like, oh, you come to an objective understanding of who you are and who other people are, how the world works. And you can kind of step back within that and get some grounding. This too shall pass. Good and bad.
Absolutely. And one of the best things too about astrology is that you can understand other people in your life a little bit better, and it helps you to have more compassion and more patience with people, because it's like, okay, we don't operate the same, but I know, I get it now. And that's it too. And so I'm wondering how you got into studying relationships and synastry, because that's definitely your thing.
Yes, I do. I do. I still haven't probably understood yet why. Maybe we're exploring this right now. Why do I love studying love and relationships so much? But I think I would love to start with the fact, of course, wanted to study my own. I wanted to study my own, and just really, once I understood there was a type of astrology out there that you can match charts and understand the energy that you two manifest together. The energy that you manifest together is the composite chart, and the ping pong between the two is the synergy chart, right? Whom is doing what to whom, okay? When expressing whatever energy to the other person. And just trying to understand my own relationships. And then I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. It's subjective stuff, because even within my own relationships, I do need other people's help. I really do, because I can't. I'm gonna call you.
Astrologer, though.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna call you, Heather, when I need my synastry reading. So.
No, that's very true though. Like with all astrologers, it's hard to be objective when you're in it and you feel like you can change things. Like, well, I know that this is here, so I can fix it. You know, Saturn's square my moon. It's fine. I'll
figure out how to make this work. I mean, it's going from being over optimistic or being too pessimistic about it. So a lot of times I have to, always understand, like, Dee, just step back. Sometimes, people, I just can't put up a video. I'm not going to say anything. I have nothing to say just to feel what is going on here, because, it's just the energies get so intense sometimes, so I just gotta be honest, keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, yeah. So, since you do a lot of synastry and you do a lot of relationship readings, I thought it could be fun to talk about some of the extremes that you've seen. So, some of the best and the worst aspects in synastry. And I know you're going to have a video coming out on your channel about this. So, everybody subscribe to AstroDee's channel. The link is in the description, so you can find her there. But let's get a little sneak preview going of some of the information you're going to be sharing.
Yeah. I mean, you got great things in relationships, and then you have bad things in relationships, and then you have those grays in between. You know what I mean? I love talking about things that are dynamic, because nothing is just good and just bad. That's flat, right? And the dynamicness of a situation comes, in between that. So one thing that, I always say is, okay, there's layers to this ish. This is my new quote, man. There's layers to this stuff, right? So if you can get through the first layer, and I always say the first layer is probably the most simple aspect, but you think it's so simple that you take it for granted. And that's how we take each other for granted. And the first aspect that I can't stand when I see a synastry reading is Mercury square Mercury.
Really?
Yes. And usually I also, I have seen relationships survive. I have seen them work. I have seen it. But Mercury communication, I think, is so important. And when the two people, experiencing it, hearing other stories and doing charts with it, when you can't get past that first layer of just, can we talk about it? Can we really relate to this? It makes a lot of, even when the ish is good, even when everything's wonderful in the chart, I've seen it. I've seen amazing charts, but that Mercury square Mercury, throw a little moon in there. Throw a little moon square on top of that. And these are light things. You think, oh, I'll brush that over. Saturn trine Venus. There's other things. No, you might have those and you might know each other for a long time and it might be deep and all that stuff, but you still may not be able to even communicate it to each other.
Yeah. Communication is very important in life.
Period. Yeah.
In particular. And if you have completely discordant communication styles, I can see how that could be a disaster. You see that even without looking at the astrology. When you have two people that are trying to communicate, they're both saying sometimes the same thing, but they're just saying it in different ways and they're fighting about it.
I mean, just as friends, even as friends, it's difficult to get it. I mean, you could love someone to death, but it's like, damn, I can't get past an hour of talking to you. Like, what is wrong with you? And that causes arguments. So now we're dealing with Mars that comes into effect, when the Mercuries are off and let's say your Mercury's in Aries and my Mercury is in Cancer. That's simple. It's a simple thing, but it's like, whoa, I could really hurt your feelings and throw you off. And I could just be play talking, just talking for fun. And you're like, listen, I didn't like what Dearisha said to me. That was not cool. I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Cancer, close it up.
Yeah.
Mercury and Cancer will just shut it down. So the Mercury squares, I think they can be really annoying and they can shut some stuff down.
And that makes a lot of sense, especially if you look at it in the context of that Aries and Cancer, because Mercury in Aries is very abrasive, very blunt, and Cancer is a little more sensitive.
I recently offended a Mercury in Cancer. It was funny. Yeah, I felt bad, but I was just like, yeah, our sister was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, I wasn't trying to, be rough. So yes,
So your Mercury is in Aries then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm telling.
Opposition going on here.
Oh, ping pong. We learn from each other. The oppositions learn quite a deal from each other, more than the difficulty. I think there's more opportunity in opposition than the square, man. Square is just but difficult. It's difficult. It's challenging. It's something that, because I don't want to make it a dismissive thing if you see it and you dismiss it. Sometimes we got to go through these hard relationships. Sometimes that's just the pact that we made. I don't know if reincarnation, but that's just the agreement that we made to go through that tough relationship to get to the next level,
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes the relationships that have like not a lot of challenging aspects, like a bunch of trines and sextiles, and you think it's wonderful, it's like boring. And people don't stick with it.
People don't want to mess with that. People don't stick with it. I mean, I keep it 100, Heather. I gotta keep it 100. I see so many things sometimes in relationships, and still the more years that go on and I'm doing this, I see fascinating things. There was just one couple, I mentioned this on another video, but they totally shocked me. I was like, who is this? This isn't your lover. And they had amazing house placements, but they weren't the traditional love house placements, but they were together and they really enjoyed being together. So sometimes I do get sideswiped a little bit and I'm just like, whoa, and most of my sideswipes, Heather, are my own personal stuff that I'm doing on my own. So that's my own issue. You know what I mean? It's probably nothing is wrong with astrology. It's like, girl, you're looking through your own rosy colored glasses. Stop looking at your own charts.
Yeah, and it's good to be aware of that as an astrologer too. Like, you have some biases, maybe you've had some maybe bad experiences with certain aspects.
Yes.
You don't want to project that onto your clients.
No, not at all. And more so with personal. So like I said, it's very traditional what I see. When I'm looking at someone else's chart, you can say, hey, you know what, that's not going to work. You got too much friction in this chart for you and this guy to really try to take it off. You could try to take it off the ball, but you might be miserable for a while trying to do it, and it might be hard to get out of it once you get. I'm talking about a heavy Saturn, restriction here in the relationship. Those are the things. But like I said, but when it comes to my personal life, I'm just like, oh yeah, this means so. Hey, you know what? Astrology doesn't work. Like, but you're an astrologer. My friends are like, but you're like, nah, man, nah. About that stuff. Don't worry about that stuff. Like, yeah, because you saw something. No, but I'm faithful to this stuff. I've been doing it. Like I said, I started at 14, 15, and it's just been something that I made a part of my life, very deep ingrained in my life.
Yeah, and I can tell that you've been doing this for a while, and you've gotten very good at it.
Thank you. I think you did. I want to say you did too. I was just talking about you. I was like, oh, she is off the chain, and you just keep taking it to the next level, Heather. I definitely salute you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've complimented each other enough.
I know.
So what else? This is a fun conversation. What else do you see that is kind of a red flag when you're looking at someone's synastry?
One red flag, and I can count on some of my experience as well, personal experience, but one red flag that I definitely also see, and this might not be mentioned in my video, no, I did mention it, is Saturn squaring Mars. I don't like that, okay, and especially don't like it if it's a double whammy, meaning two people, like your Saturn squares their Mars, their Saturn squares your Mars, double whammy. I don't like it because Mars is the movement of the person in the relationship. That is the sexual energy of the relationship. So if you have a stifle on that relationship can be. It can be. Because I've just recently actually seen it, and I was like, I don't know what you two are going through in the bedroom, but sorry for you. That's tough. I mean, and like I said, it can manifest maybe, I can't say I know everything these are predictions. These are, you know, based on my knowledge and intuition, but fact is fact. What happens is what happens. I don't know that, what is going to exactly, you know, just I could predict it, but that dynamic is stifling.
Mm-hmm.
That dynamic within a person is just stifling. You have that in your natal chart. It is difficult for you to go forward, and it might even be, you know, sex life might even have a struggle of back and forth. Like sometimes you get it all the time, sometimes you don't get none at all, and it's just frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're dealing with that on your own natally, and then you have that issue with someone else in synastry, it might even be tough for that relationship to even get on the ground at all, get off the ground. So Saturn square Mars, definitely, I think it's funky.
That makes a lot of sense, because I mean, it's first off, it's the two malefic planets squaring each other in the most challenging aspect, right? So that's never going to be good regardless. But yeah, I can totally see that, and I've seen that in people's individual charts too, where they essentially are like not sexually active, like in their adult years, because they have this really intense energy with Saturn and Mars does rule your sexual expression, right? And so it's important to have a healthy Mars in your relationship and in your synastry and all of that.
Right. That's right.
What about discordant Mars placements? Like if Mars is square Mars, have you seen that? Because that seems like it could almost be exciting, maybe. Because
personal experience, I'll bring that one in. It was rough. It was really rough. Everything was trying, but that square, that square didn't work, because that's fighting. That's how you move, clashes with how that other person moves. You can get through it, but there will be some kind of physical something going on, whether that person could bump into you and make you fall down the stairs. It doesn't have to be a argumentative. It's just your physical energies is just off. That's people bumping into each other. That's clumsiness as well, you know. But like I said, I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to be light about it. But I think that's just like, I want to slap you in your face, straight up. Mars square Mars, like I'm tempted to do that or get physical. But, you know, it depends on other indications that would amp that up. If Saturn squaring that Mars, squaring their Mars, you know, already, that's like, whoa. It's crazy. You know, Heather, I've seen some really amazing things in people's charts, but sometimes it doesn't even manifest until later on in their lives, or when that person, another person comes, right, and activates either violence or healing in their charts, right? So I find that pretty fascinating, you know. Okay, because who is it? Mars in Cancer is the murderer. They call it the murderer. Not all Mars in Cancer, but I've read that about a lot of just basically understand. That's another video I'm going to be doing soon. Violence in the chart. I'm rambling off on another topic, but
no, that makes complete sense. But why is Mars in Cancer the murderer?
Well, I keep reading a lot of famous. This was a data study. And then, you know, anybody can definitely check up on that, you know, rebuttal it, whatever. But it was saying a lot of people that committed certain crimes had Mars in Cancer, the men.
Really?
Due to, they had issues with mommy issues.
That would make sense.
Very, very angry at their moms, and feminine energy in general within them frustrates them, and it's expressed outwardly to that same energy in a violent way. But that's just one episode. Please, you guys, nobody's a murderer watching the channel. I mean, and then you throw a mix in that of Pluto square Mars. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh, yeah.
And you add Pluto in there. But hey, Heather, off tape, I got to ask you something, because I've seen some crazy shit, and this person looks like an angel. And I was like, what? You look like so. You got so-and-so. Like, how is this? People, you know, maybe you can transcend energy. You can really learn heavy lessons early in life and choose different directions on how to do it, you know.
Absolutely. And all of the astrology kind of runs on a spectrum, right? So you can have a higher manifestation of something where it's not maybe as overt as being a murderer. But what you said about that being angry at the feminine energy, and that is brilliant. You just like hit on something that I've been pondering for a while about these Mars and Aries people, especially the men.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point, and I don't think they realize it's like a passive aggressive energy a lot of the time.
Yeah. Mother is angry at mom, and where that's what, and it's like I said, even the feminine energy within them, because that is Mars is your masculinity.
Yeah.
As a man, and that is in a feminine sign. So the most masculine you can be, and you can feel, is through Cancer. You know, it's through the type, through the style, because I like to use the signs as styles. It's through the sign, it's through the style of Cancer, is how you're expressing your masculinity. So, you know, typical the world we're in, right, and how they receive that is, you know, a lot of times, oh, you're not macho enough, you're not a macho man. That's pressure, it's frustration, I think, also, you know, for a lot of guys too, some guys, how to, you know, be according to standards, whatever.
Yeah, but that kind of brings up a good point about like looking at people's individual charts too, because you can have like the greatest synastry in the entire universe, but if your chart is all sorts of messed up and you haven't dealt with any of those issues,
all it takes is a little messed up little Mars square Mars to blow up the whole relationship, because your chart isn't okay. And a lot of times, like I said, some people trigger certain things in your chart that other people's have not. So let's say you're not a violent person. You've never experienced yourself to be violent. All of a sudden you meet Lakeisha, and Lakeisha has you stalking in bushes like you've never experienced in your life. Like, why am I doing this? I've never done this for anybody before in my life. You already have a Pluto opposition to Venus. You know, her Pluto just conjuncts your Venus now, and now you're experiencing this for the first time in your life. But this is you. This is a reflection of you. You know, we're bringing back those reflectors. So people are just filling up the empty houses within each other's charts, and we're experiencing new parts of ourselves as they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And those Pluto aspects can be really intense, especially if they're difficult aspects.
Oh my God, yeah.
Manipulative and controlling and obsessive. And you can fight, like you said, you can find yourself feeling this like obsessive pull towards somebody. And you're like, where did this come from? I'm not normally jealous, but I want to like rip this guy's head off because he's talking to my girlfriend or whatever.
Yes. And it's up to you now, if you're ready for that growth experience, if you're ready for it, because you have the choice. I mean, I don't know, Heather, as an astrologer question, like my friend was telling me, you know, if you have the gift of sight, see. Don't block your sight. Don't try to say, no, I'm not gonna see it that way. I'm gonna see it another way. It's like, no, see what is in front of you if you can look. Because there's a lot of people that can't look.
Yeah.
So if you have a doctor, check out his birth chart. This is where, you know, I always encourage people to learn astrology and understand astrology. It's like, if you have the gift, you have the tool, why not use it?
Yeah.
But like I said, don't use it to traumatize yourself and stress yourself out. But keep it there as information. You know, the understanding of your own personal chart, like we were saying. And just when it comes to matching with other people, it's imperative to understand the natal chart of each individual, because that tells what you're attracting in your life a lot. It tells what you like, what might turn you on, you know, what'll make you feel secure in a relationship. And that'll tell you right there. You'll know immediately if someone's for you, just by knowing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very good advice. That's awesome. And so kind of going along in the same lines of our conversation, so we talked about some of the difficult aspects that can come up and all that. So what are some of the best things that you've seen in terms of harmonious energies and really good, what makes a relationship solid and good and long lasting, those like idyllic relationships that people strive for?
Okay.
I know it's a tall order.
Okay, I'm gonna break it down for you. First, I'm going to start with number one, that person working on themselves,
yes.
Right? Going back to the main part. The circumstances that the person's ready, right, to be with anyone, period, whether they're good or bad for them. So understanding that. And then just I look at it like rings. And then the third one is, just they're in that right space, to be with the right, to really try to look for someone and via transits. That's what I mean. That's the word. What word am I looking for? Their transits are in place. Because sometimes you are, it's about work. It's about you and it's about growing. And you're wondering why your relationships aren't working out. It's because, no, you're not supposed to be looking for the one. You're supposed to be looking for a job.
Yes.
You're supposed to focus on a job right now. Your finances will improve and all that, and then love will come. So 1 second. Sorry. Mercury retrograde? No. Wait 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, good. Wait a second. No, don't
you good?
do this. Don't do it. Okay, yes, I'm good. Caught that.
Okay, awesome.
That video is about to die. My whole computer is just about to die. But I caught it. So, okay, yes. Now, so talking about that via transits, understanding your transits, and really flowing with that. To really, aim correctly. And then, okay, now we're talking about, let's say, so my favorite to look for, because this is even if you need to go, let's say romantic, we're talking about romantic relationships. My favorite to look for is just know, is this a romantic tone? You walk into a room and you meet somebody, you say, damn, you fine. I like you, right? And it's like, okay, first of all, is there even an overlay, a romantic overlay? Meaning 5th, 8th, 7th. I'm very strict on the romantic overlays. I think that is something that is very vital to me. I mean, does not mean a relationship cannot stand. But if you said classic now, right? You said the classic stuff. 5th, 7th, and 8th house overlays. Maybe a dash of 12th in there and 4th. Okay. Dash of 12th and 4th. But I think that is really will let you know this is going to be a romantic experience that you're going to have with this person. Yeah. You have them both on both sides, then even more so, this is, could be a romantic experience. So the house overlays, right? And I'll give you an aspect that I love. What's an aspect that I like? There's so many. Well, how about this one? I mean, everybody wants it to be kinky in the bedroom. Okay, don't front. So you got the Mars-Venus aspect that everybody, hits up. The Mars conjunction, I think, is the hottest. Oh my God. Conjunction is off the chain. Yeah. The opposition. I don't like the opposition in the square because it's off timing. So it's like one person's down, the other person's not, the other person's available, the other person's not available. It's just always such off timing with the oppositions in the square with Mars and Venus. But you get a trine, a sextile, or a conjunction, that's pretty hot. Everybody wants that. I think that's hot for that longevity, because I would think that if people want a long-term relationship, they want to keep it as hot as they can.
Yeah.
So that's where you have the Mars conjunct Venus. You guys will add a little Uranus in there, a Uranus aspect to it. You'll be able to glitch on those lights in between the long relationship.
Okay, I like that. And I could see that being important. Mars sign compatibility is very important.
Mars sign.
Relationship, yeah, for sure. If it's especially that opposition too, because what you would need in the bedroom would be completely different than what your partner needs in that opposition. It's literally polar opposites.
Yeah.
So I always wonder how people would even make that work.
You want totally.
I couldn't be with a Mars and a Libra. I'm a Mars and Aries. This is like a very different experience that we're having here.
It's so true. It's so true. But it's just, what do you need in your birth chart, and what do you need at that time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe it could be a time where you got to learn to compromise in the bedroom. You know? Like, no, I want this. It's like, oh God, okay, we'll split this. Right? So Mars compatibility, you know, is important. Just, you know, Venus too, on a superficial level, but actually, I don't know, if your partner likes green, dark drapes, and you like bright, sunny drapes, that's a Venus conflict. That is a Venus square Venus conflict right there. I'll have problems now, but you can survive that, I think, more than a Mars conflict, because the Mars conflict is how you put up those drapes. Maybe that one Mars might be sloppy with it. Maybe Mars and Sagittarius, I don't know, Mars and Sagittarius dropping stuff all over the place, stuff all over, spread all over. Mars and Virgo wants it, you know, a certain type of way, whatever. Point is, the Mars is where you physically clash. The Venus is where you can aesthetically clash. Any Venus squares or come together in a beautiful way. That's always really nice. What's another one that I say I really like? You know, depends on where you are in your life and what you need. Because right now, to me, I'll tell you, Saturn trine Venus, I think is amazing to have in a chart, to know that somebody's secure and stable. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. But somebody coming up that's like, you know, 22, it'd be like, yeah, Mars, Venus, I need that today in my life. Depends on what you need, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can kind of tell from a person's chart what they need. Like if you have Venus with Uranus, or Uranus in your 7th house, you maybe don't want Venus with Saturn. Like maybe you want something a little bit wilder and more exciting, where there's a lot of change and, you know, things are constantly on the move. And maybe you want something a little more unusual and outside of the box in an unconventional relationship, as opposed
Did you just say Uranus in the 7th house? You were right, Uranus in the 7th house. I was just double checking. I heard you say that. That is a very tricky aspect to have. Why, you have it, girl? No.
I know a lot of people, and that's everyone who comes to me wanting relationship readings. I would say like 50% of them have something going on with Uranus in their 7th, or Uranus with Venus, especially women. Women have a harder time with that than men. Men are okay with it. They're like, well, I'm just going to have lots of partners and go do whatever. And
yeah, but women are like, oh no, this isn't okay. Yeah. Oh my God. I recently, you know, situation came up, and, you know, I was like, oh my goodness, this person wanted to get married, and they had this in their chart. And it's like, I was just like, oh no. And this is a personal friend. So there's like, okay, so there's a whole new way to answer it now. You know, this is a personal situation, but it's like, I don't know about that one, my friend. It's Uranus in the 7th is either, because there's a positive aspect to it, because either you'll do it suddenly, you just wake up one day and elope. That's elope. I don't see you having a long, drawn-out, planned wedding with Uranus in your 7th house. You can do it, but you know, so that's one thing, you know. And even ironically, you would think, okay, Uranus in there, but sometimes Uranus can be on your ascendant, causing stuff to act up in your 7th.
That's true. Yep. I've seen that, especially by transit. I've seen that. Very disruptive to relationships.
Yep. You just changing too damn much. Like people just like, you know what? That's it. You came in here, you had long blonde hair, and now you shaved your head. What is this? What is this? Uranus is on my 2nd house, bro. Uranus is on my 2nd house. So my 1st house. But yeah, so the Uranus there, if someone brings that, bringing it back to synastry. Someone brings their Uranus into your 7th house. Like, oh God, you know, they are making you have to they just want to do things in the total way you're not used to. Unconventional stuff. This is like, yeah, let's elope, but you grew up Catholic and you're supposed to have a big, huge wedding, Catholic wedding with everybody there. And it's like, no, let's just elope. Let's just get this done. Or, you know, same-sex couples. I talk about that, you know, that could come up. You know, it's the first time you experience a same-sex relationship. Uranus comes into your 7th house. First time you meet a stripper. Who knows? That's the point. That's the point. You know, you just don't know what could come up with Uranus. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, and I've seen all of those things with those Uranus things over the course of my career as an astrologer. So that's
Right?
interesting. All those examples that you said.
Yeah, and you could date an astrologer.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's a good, or like a scientist who's like really eccentric.
Yes, a weird scientist.
Yes.
You can date. So I always say just get ready for the unpredictable. Be open to things that you're not used to being open. And if you've been in, I would highly recommend to anybody, I mean, who has Uranus in your 7th house, if you felt at transit, if you have felt, these are people that have Taurus ascendants. These are kind of my booze. That's you. Oh,
You know, I have Taurus. I have Scorpio ascendant. So Uranus is
yes.
transit my 7th now. It moved into my 7th and squared my Venus and my Moon. And my husband and I moved across the country and bought a house together. And that was like our big like Uranus crazy change that happened then.
Yes. See, you know what? And that's really cool too that you're telling me that too. We should have partnered up a long time ago. Doing stuff together a while ago. That's cool. But yes, you had one hoorah, right? I think it's 3 hoorahs for the deacons. I always say that with when it goes through each time, right? So that's pretty cute. So I always shout out to my Scorpio ascendants because my son is about to hit Uranus, or Uranus is about to hit my son in Taurus.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that makes sense.
Bam, in your face. So my video is about to get weirder. They're gonna get so weird, Heather. Just get ready, girl. Get ready. But the insight is coming a lot faster, and I'm getting Susan's light. Trying to work on it. It's not that bad. Is it terrible? It's not too terrible.
That's worse now. Okay,
that's a while ago. So
now we can see your face.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. But the combo is what was important, the content.
Yeah.
And so I recommend to get synastry readings. Oh, I was gonna say, people that have Uranus in the 7th house, if you have been you've been feeling suppressed in a relationship, abused, neglected, just totally feeling like cast aside, or just dullness in a relationship, this is your chance to be free, to set yourself free from that situation. And it's going to happen very fast. It's supposed to happen quick, fast, and just a break, right? And I recommend that you take advantage of the opportunity, because some people are so afraid to leave situations and just like, oh my God, their jail. You see The Color Purple, Heather?
A long time ago, yeah.
Okay, you remember Mr. from Color Purple? Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you're Mr. or whoever the hell it is that's suppressing you, you can really release yourself with a 7th house transit.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And any Uranus transit is going to be very liberating.
Right.
Your sun, wherever it is, you're going to get liberated. You're going to have a lot more freedom. It might be uncomfortable for a few years.
Yeah, that's the thing. You think it's like, oh, you hear freedom. It's like, that's great. But it's like, it's weird too.
Change is never comfortable, and it's never easy, and it's never going to go in a linear fashion either. You're going to have ups and downs, and you're going to backtrack and move forward, and you're going to be all over the place. But when you come out the other side, it's like, wow, I'm a different person. That's great. I've got all this bondage and baggage and all this nonsense. Yeah.
I'm liberated. Get liberated. So you're getting liberated right now. You're getting liberated, doing things in a new way. Probably even seeing your partner in a new way. Like, wow, this is a whole rejuvenating.
Well, the thing is, he's changing a lot in his life as soon as it was on the cusp, going back and forth, because it was going back and forth in between Taurus and Aries. Yep. I have my Venus at 29 degrees, so it's squaring my Venus at the same time. And then right when it squared my Venus for the last time and moved into Taurus, we moved and did all that. And now my husband's like in transition, trying to change his career. And so it's like playing out in him. Like I'm seeing it reflected in him. Yeah. And because of that, the dynamic of our relationship is changing. But in a good way. It's like we got stuck in a rut doing the same stuff, and it's not working anymore. And you can look at it like that, right? Instead of like, oh no, because I was scared. I was like, what's going to happen?
I know. I was scared as you were talking about it. I was like, okay. But you know what I love is when people move with the energies. Like you said, you didn't just stay in the same spot. Oh no, you moved. You created the change that both people were craving at the time, that you needed and that he needed. Therefore, you suffice the energy, you appease the energies. And I think that's a totally different, I think what happens when we don't put in our half of the situation, when we don't do anything, it's difficult for that. I don't know. I just think action plus the transit equals manifestation here. So if it says Uranus squaring Venus, whatever, your husband's gonna do craziness or whatever. You're sitting in a house and you're yelling at him, and there's horribleness thing. Yeah, you're bringing on you totally. But what do you do then? But so, like I said, you guys took it to the higher vibration, and you really created the change that was needed within. And I think that's cool, and it's just gonna keep vibrating higher.
Yeah, and that's why astrology readings are important, and understanding your transits and your chart and your synastry. All of those things in combination can really help you to work with the energy instead of struggling against it, trying to like maintain the status quo if that's not what is meant to happen in the moment.
Totally.
And so that being said, where can people find you for synastry readings?
Oh, you can first find me on Instagram at AstroDee stars 5. And on YouTube at AstroDee stars. And there, from there, all of my emails there and all that stuff. But Instagram is really the easiest spot. Like I'm on it. You get your reply pretty quick on Instagram.
All right, awesome.
Yes.
I will post a link to that, and I'll post a link to your channel because I want everyone to subscribe, because your videos are fun. If you're looking for if you don't want to be so serious and watching like a lecture, which is more like what I do.
But I like it. I feel so grounded. I'm like, okay, I don't stop laughing, D. Focus in the classroom. Making jokes, and I come to you.
Well, when I want to learn and be entertained at the same time, and all of that, your channel is the go-to for that. So
awesome.
You do a very good job of making it fun and keeping it light, but also really getting down to the nitty-gritty of it. And that's very hard to do. So you're very talented at putting it all together. I love it.
Oh, that's an honor. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. This is not easy. I thought it would be, but it's really not. It's not easy. You want to talk about what you love, and then at the same time though, it's like, okay, but there's a schedule to this. I love it. You're tight with your schedules and stuff, and it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna at least get one out a week. I'm gonna try one video out a week to talk about this stuff, but I'm usually, my head's in the sky like, wow, this stuff is just so amazing. Do you ever find, before we go, that you get astrologer's block, where you just get so much information, you get okay, I can't move. Just have I don't have anything to say about anything. I can't say anything about this because my brain is just chewing on this.
I do, especially when I'm doing too many readings. And what's funny is that when I first started doing this full time, and then there was this point where I reached this pivotal moment, and all of a sudden I just got a ton of readings, and all of a sudden everything was just moving forward, and it was great, but I was overwhelmed by it. And I started having these stress dreams where my whole dream was a chart, and all I saw was the chart in the dream, and the planets are moving around and they won't stop moving, and I have to keep reading them in different positions and for my dreams for months.
I know that dream. You're running in a chart. You're really you see the signs running. That is trippy. That is so trippy. That was something really takes over. Yeah. And I hate those types of dreams. They're repetitive.
Yes.
It's like a cycle, you're in a hamster wheel type of dream. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow, girl. You better get it though. Do your thing. You better do your thing. I love it. I would love to do another interview or talk with you again, Heather. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to have you on again. Next time, maybe we can talk about karma in the birth chart or something. We have so many avenues we can go down.
So many. Just you let me know, girl. You got it tight. Thank you so much. And please forgive me for my lateness today. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And if you want to book a reading with AstroDee, the links are down in the description below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share this video if you felt like it gave you some good information and insight that other people can benefit from. And we will see you next time. And if you stick around, AstroDee, I will
Oh, yeah.
talk to you after this. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.